everyone. It's Jay West, the prayer guy, and this is 5 a Day with Jay. And we're doing a series on prayer points and just bringing strength and endurance and information to our prayer lives, one point at a time. And this week I'm going to talk about obedience. When you hear God's voice and it doesn't make sense, or you hear God's voice and you don't want to do it, and you're like, you fight him or you argue with him, and you try to discern how to get this accomplished. And my experience has been that when I do not respond quickly, then I just have to keep going back over and over until I do, because he doesn't want to move on without that. So the story today is years ago, and I shared this yesterday in the church service that I preached at here in Omaha. Years ago, I had irritable bowel syndrome. I was diagnosed with that in 1988. And when the doctors told me I had it, they said, this disease will not kill you. It will not be something that just gets worse and worse, but it will not get better also. There's no known cure, and we don't have very much to help you with medicine-wise, so you're just going to have to learn how to live with it. And it is incurable. You will always have it. And when you hear something like that, Proverbs says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. But when it springs forth, it's a tree of life. But hope deferred means hope was pushed away, and now I have no hope of getting well medically. So what am I going to do? And so I just kept praying and persevering, and I don't understand why I didn't get well the first day, the first week, the first month, even the first year. I had it for 3 very long years, and pain was my number one symptom. I would wake myself up at night crying, and my wife would pray for me, and I'd fall back asleep, and this would happen multiple times. But God came to me, in the 3rd year, and he said, I want you to give your health away. I said, what do you mean, give my health away? I'm not healthy. How can I give something away that I don't have? He said, yeah, you can. You're not unhealthy in all these other areas. This is one area. I want you to start praying for people that are sick. And that launched me into praying for people that, to this day, I'm praying for people. And launched me into a ministry that I did not know I was going to have. But then he added something to it. After I was praying for people for a number of weeks, getting lists and lists of people and praying for them, he said, I want you to give blood. I was like, no, I don't want to give blood. He said, yeah, I want you to give blood, and because that's the way to give your health away. And I was not going to give blood because I was a blood donor prior to that. And the last time I'd given blood, they put the needle in my arm, but it clotted. And when it clots, you're supposed to pull the needle out and tap the vein and get a new vein and put it back in. This particular technician that day did not do that. He twisted the needle in my arm, and I was screaming, and about went through the roof of that bloodmobile. And I made a declaration that day. I said, I'm never giving blood again, because it was so painful. It was horrendous. And God's coming to me and says, I want you to give blood. Now, this is a hard thing for me. I don't want to do this. It's difficult because I'm a little bit fearful, and it was so painful. And at that time, I didn't know that the technician had done it wrong. I later learned. But anyway, I just came to grips with it. I decided, okay, I'm going to trust God, and I gave the blood. And then I gave blood again. I gave blood again, and I did it multiple times. I think in my lifetime, I've given about 10 gallons worth of blood. And God used that. He honored my obedience, and I got well on June 1st, 1991, of something the doctor said would never go away. And obedience is the key. Every act of obedience is a declaration of trust. I'll say it again. Every act of obedience is a declaration of trust, and I had to trust God in the midst of this. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you for tuning in. God bless you as you are obedient. Respond to him in a still small voice. If he tells you to do something, don't be afraid of it. Pray about it and step out in faith and see what God will do with it. So that's 5 a Day with Jay. We'll see you next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.